A man is rushing to get his 8-year-old son to school on time. They're running a bit late, and the man is anxious to avoid any delays. As they approach a busy intersection, the traffic light turns red. The man notices a car in front of him with its turn signal on, indicating that it's going to make a right turn. The man waits impatiently behind the car, tapping his fingers on the steering wheel. As soon as the car in front of them makes the right turn, the man quickly follows, hoping to catch up some lost time. Just as he turns, he suddenly realizes that there was a no right turn on red sign at the intersection. He feels a pang of worry and says,
"Uh-oh, I think I just made an illegal turn."
His son, who's been watching everything from the back seat, chimes in with a reassuring tone.
"It's okay, Dad. The police car right behind us did the same thing."
A woman goes to her boyfriend's parents' house for dinner. This is to be her first time meeting the family, and she is very nervous. They all sit down and begin eating a fine meal. The woman is beginning to feel a little discomfort thanks to her nervousness and the broccoli casserole. The gas pains are almost making her eyes water. Left with no other choice, she decides to relieve herself a bit and lets out a dainty fart. It wasn't loud, but everyone at the table heard it. Before she even had a chance to be embarrassed, her boyfriend's father looked over at the dog that had been snoozing at the woman's feet and said in a rather stern voice,
"Skippy!"
The woman thought, "This is great!" and a big smile came across her face. A couple of minutes later, she was beginning to feel the pain again. This time, she didn't even hesitate. She let a much louder and longer fart rip. The father again looked at the dog and yelled,
"Damn it, Skippy!"
Once again, the woman smiled and thought, "Yes!" A few minutes later, the woman had to let another one rip. She ripped a fart that rivaled a train whistle blowing. Once again, the father looked at the dog with disgust and yelled,
"Damn it, Skippy! Get away from her before she hits on you!"
A man walks down the street and suddenly notices his watch has stopped working. He looks around, searching for a watch shop nearby. At the end of the street, he sees a small store with a big clock hanging outside. As he enters the store, to his surprise, he does not see a display of watches, but only a long counter. Behind it sits a Jewish rabbi with a long white beard. "Hello," the man says. "Can you please check my watch? I think it's broken."
"I'm sorry," says the rabbi. "I don't know anything about watches. I am a moil. I perform circumcisions."
"How nice," the man replies. "Definitely important work." The man continues, "But why do you hang a large clock outside your store?"
"Well,"
replies the rabbi,
"what do you expect me to hang out there?"
A government inspector visits a morgue. There, he sees 3 corpses, each with a great big smile on their faces. Curious, the inspector approaches the mortician and asks,
"I noticed that each of these corpses have a big smile on their face. Who are they and what did they die from?"
The mortician replies,
"The first body is that of a Frenchman, aged 60, who died making love to his mistress. Hence the smile on his face. The second body is an Irishman, aged 30, who won $10,000 in the lottery and spent it all on whiskey. He died of alcohol poisoning. Hence the smile on his face."
The inspector then asks,
"What about the third body?"
The mortician says,
This is perhaps the most unlikely of all. That is Billy Bob, a farm boy from Oklahoma, aged 25, who was struck by lightning."
"Why is he smiling then?"
asks the inspector. The mortician replies,
"Oh, he thought he was getting his picture taken."
Mrs. Nelson asks the boys and girls in her class to draw a picture of their favorite farm animal. The students eagerly get busy, pencils scratching on paper as they create their masterpieces. That is, except for little Johnny. He's seated at his desk, paper in front of him, balancing a pencil on his nose, his eyes crossed as he tries to keep it from slipping off. Mrs. Nelson notices him from across the room and sighs, knowing Johnny's drawings are often creative, to say the least. She walks over to his desk and glances at the completely blank sheet of paper in front of him. Not even a doodle. She raises an eyebrow.
Johnny, what are you drawing?
Johnny, still focusing on keeping the pencil balanced, replies,
It's a cow eating grass.
Mrs. Nelson looks at his paper, then back at him.
I don't see any grass.
Johnny lets the pencil fall from his nose, straightens up, and says with an air of confidence,
The cow ate it all.
Mrs. Nelson, expecting such a comeback from little Johnny, says,
All right, and where's the cow?
Johnny points at the blank page as if the answer should be completely obvious.
He went to find more grass?
A blonde has just gotten a new sports car and is out for a drive when she accidentally cuts off a trucker who's been on the road far too long. He motions for her to pull over. When she does, he gets out of his truck and pulls a piece of chalk from his pocket. He draws a circle on the side of the road and commands the blonde,
Stand in that circle and don't move.
He opens her car and cuts up her leather seats with his hunting knife. When he turns around, she has a little grin on her face. Infuriated, he says,
Oh, you think that's funny? Watch this.
He gets a baseball bat out of his truck and breaks every window in her car. When he turns and looks at her, she begins to giggle. He is really mad now and proceeds to slash all her tires. Now she's laughing out loud. The truck driver is really starting to lose it. He goes to his truck and gets a can of gas, pours it on her car, and sets it on fire. He turns around and she is doubled over with tears running down her cheeks. Enraged now, the truck driver screams,
You're crazy! What the hell is so funny?
Through fits of laughter, the blonde replies,
Every time you weren't looking, I stepped outside the circle.
One day, a father gets out of work, and on his way home, he suddenly remembers that it's his daughter's birthday. He dashes over to a toy shop and asks the salesperson,
How much for one of those Barbies in the display window?
The salesperson replies, Well, that depends. Which one do you mean, sir? We have Workout Barbie for $19, Shopping Barbie for $19, Beach Barbie for $19, Disco Barbie for $19, Ballerina Barbie for $19, and Divorced Barbie for $199. The amazed father asks,
How much? Why is the divorced Barbie $199 and the others only $19?
The annoyed salesperson sighs and answers, Sir, the other Barbies only come with one outfit. On the other hand, Divorced Barbie comes with Ken's car, Ken's house, Ken's boat, Ken's furniture, Ken's computer, and one of Ken's best friends. A man was down on his luck and in desperate need of a job. He saw an ad in the newspaper about a sales position. He didn't know the first thing about sales, but figured he could learn, so he contacted the company.
It's simple,
Said the hiring manager.
You go door to door selling toothbrushes. Everyone needs a toothbrush. You should be able to sell lots of them.
The man agreed and went out to a large housing tract for the day. When he returned to the office, he was asked how his day went. I sold one toothbrush, he said. The hiring manager was not happy.
Look, I know it's your first day in sales, so I'll forgive you this time. But you need to sell more than one if you want to keep your job.
The next day, the man went to another neighborhood. When he returned to the office at the end of the day, he said, I sold 2 toothbrushes today. Now the hiring manager was furious.
That's not nearly enough. You have one more day to get this right. If you don't sell a lot more tomorrow, you're fired.
When the man came back to the office at the end of the next day, again he was asked how he did.
I sold 1,500 toothbrushes, he proclaimed.
That's incredible,
Said the hiring manager.
That's more than anyone has ever sold in one day before. How did you do it?
Well,
He began.
I went to a grocery store and set up a table outside with some chips and some dip. Then I asked people to try them. They would taste it and say, "This dip tastes like shit." And I would say, "It is." Would you like to buy a toothbrush?